Time now for Bob Hines Fly Tying Corner, brought to you by David Parecka's River and Riptide Anglers, conveniently located off Interstate 95 at 2435 Nooseneck Hill Road in Coventry, Rhode Island. At River and Riptide Anglers, you'll find a full range of fly fishing products, rods and reels, outer gear, and fly tying materials. Now here's the captain, Bob Hines.
Welcome to Rivers and Riptide. We're going to be tying a cinder worm pattern this afternoon that would be used to fish the South Shore estuaries for striped bass. We're going to get started. We're going to use a 36-890 Mustad salmon hook to tie this particular worm fly pattern. The reason why I do that is because it's a lighter gauge wire, and what we want it to do is we want this fly to stay pretty high up in the water column. We're going to use a regular 6/0 black thread. We're going to tie in our thread and wrap all the way back to the bend of the hook, almost even with the point. And you can use either monofilament thread, fine mono thread, or the black thread. Either or works quite well. I'm going to get in there and cut off that excess. For the tail and the body, what I do is I take some orange stripped foam, and you can cut it to a desired length depending upon the size worm you want to tie. So we're going to take that little piece of foam, going to lay it right on the top hook shank, and we're just going to wrap right over it towards the eye. You want to try to keep it as uniform as possible. Then we're going to wrap back over the foam back towards the tail. Now you can see on this fly I left the tail about an inch longer. So as you can see, we have our tail of this worm fly already in. Very, very simple and effective pattern. Now what we'll do is, this is excess material, I'm just going to cut that off. But as I cut it off, I'm just going to leave a little bit of material protruding off the eye of the hook. And there's a reason for that I'll explain once the pattern is done. For the body material, all I have is some crystal chenille. I like using the orangish color, or the red, or the pink. So we're just going to take a piece of this crystal chenille, tie that right in where we left off tying in the under foam body. So I'm just going to tie that in with a few wraps. And I'm going to wrap forward right up to where that little foam paddle is, if you will. I'm just going to tie right to that point, let the thread lay there for a second, and now we're just going to wrap over that under foam body, creating a little bit fatter body. These worms are all different sizes. The naturals, you can see them as small as a 1/2 inch, as long as 4 inches. So what the foam tail does is it allows us to clip it accordingly to size. Once I have that crystal chenille body wrapped forward, I'm just going to tie that off. And of course we're going to clip off that excess material, and we're just going to finish securing that chenille body. A little bit of black ostrich herl, and we're going to tie that in right where we finished off with the crystal chenille. We're just going to tie that in, and once we get it tied in, we're just going to clip off those butt ends. And now we're just going to take those two and just wrap it over a little bit of the forward body material, creating the head. You can lock it in with your thread, finish the fly by whip finishing it. And all that does is it completes the fly so it doesn't unravel. And then we're going to trim, just finish up by cutting off our thread. And that little paddle that I referred to in the front, just going to cut that a little bit shorter. And the purpose of that is when this fly is retrieved, what it does is it actually creates a little bit of a wake off the tail, and the paddle pushes a little bit of water. This fly acts just like the real one. So.
For more information, call River and Riptide Anglers at 401-392-1919 or email us at info@riverandriptide.com. Fly Fish RI was brought to you